Hello, everybody. My name is Daniele. I'm a freelancer, trainer, youth worker with 10 years of experience. So there was this situation. It was a youth exchange. I was working as a coordinator in the project on the spot. And during the farewell party, so last night, there was a situation of alleged sexual violence. As a professional, I thought I knew what was the right thing to do. It means to call the police and let them deal with the situation. But of course, there was a struggle inside me, mainly also on a human level, because I was not really looking forward to send a young person, even a minor, to get arrested and so on. While I was struggling, at a certain point, I thought, okay, I decided to speak with my colleagues, with the youth leaders, and also the youth leaders that were responsible for the girl. I asked them to talk with the girl and to ask her what she wanted to do. And together we figured out what was the most appropriate way to act for the well being of the girl, but also for the group dynamic and for the whole group. In this situation, I could have identified the following attitudes. For example, I was open to express my own feelings and emotion and struggle. I was ready to challenge also this my own certainty on what was the right thing to do and to step back and reflect. I was also addressing the ethical issues as a source of learning for me, but also for the others. Youth exchange. This time I was working in there as a youth leader, and the particularity of this youth exchange was the group was really challenging. Was bringing together really different kind of young people with different backgrounds, and in particular there was a young participant that was really challenging us, the whole team, but also saying we were not able to do our job, you would have done that better. And this participant was also very charismatic and having a big impact on the whole group, affecting the mood and the dynamics. So within the team, we actually thought to have prepared the program and the activities really carefully and in a good way to satisfy all the needs. And this brought us a bit in a particular situation. We didn't know really how to deal with that. So we decided to create the Participants Council, in which a group of participants, of youngsters, were included in the team meetings and planning together the activities, bringing their own suggestions, their own feedbacks. And of course, this participant was also part of this group. The situation improved, of course, but the guy remained really challenging anyway. In this situation, the attitudes that helped me was to improvise and accept ambiguity. I was ready to do that. I was also open towards new learning experiences. I was also really open to trust young people in their own capacity to direct their own learning. And of course, we were willing to support and empower the different individuals and also the group. I worked for many years in an organization in Rome as a mentor and a project coordinator. And at the beginning, I was really happy with this job. I was what I wanted to do, and I was really motivated. But after some time, the work became a sort of a routine and repetitive. I could not see any improvement, neither professional as a person. And I wished to have a different kind of task and different kind of responsibility and role. I communicated these wishes, but the situation didn't change. It became frustrating, and I started to lose motivation. And I started to think, okay, maybe it's done, it's enough. At the end, I continued working there because I took some time to stop and reflect on my own role within the team, but also the role of my colleagues, their competencies, and I decided to focus more on improving my own professional standards. I realized my weakness and also limitation, and I tried to work on those limitations. It did for a while. At a certain point, it was anyway too much, so I changed job. But in this process, it was really important for me to be aware of my own competencies, as well being aware of the competencies of my colleagues at the time and what I could learn from them. So I was ready to reflect and to rethink my own role. And also I was trusting myself and the others to direct our own learning process. That's something I find myself facing all the time because I always tend to accept all the tasks, even though I don't know anything about the topics, the methodology, and so on. That happens because I always think I can learn something. I can professionally acquire new competencies without first thinking what is my actual context, starting point, especially if I have the resources to improve my competencies. And in this process, for me, as I can recognize the following, the attitudes like I'm willing to open to take new tasks on and to if they are not in my expertise, I'm open and ready to engage new challenges, to continue learning because I'm really a supporter of long life learning. I'm working in different countries at the moment, and therefore I also work with really different people coming with different backgrounds. And of course, I got challenged by other people's attitude. I also think I challenge other people, but I also recognize that some of the challenges were a result of different national contexts, cultural, economic, and social aspects are somehow affecting individuals' attitudes and competencies and so on. In this process, it was really interesting for me to see that my own attitudes were shifting according to the context I'm working in, but as well, I started to realize the attitudes that are more agreeing, let's say, on a same level or coherent with my own values. That was a really interesting process to see that is still happening. And in this process, I can recognize the attitudes like willingness to collaborate with other actors and stakeholders to appreciate the added values that new partnership and people and colleagues are bringing. Also, I'm ready to being confronted with other views and approaches. As well, it's really important to compromise. So ready to accept compromises, keeping the young people's interests and rights as an umbrella, let's say. That's a common goal. And it's also important to being open and willing to look at identity, culture, and related aspect for this perspective. And also, last one is to be aware that culture is a dynamic and multifaceted